freight train wreck's got a mule to ride, if the freight train wreck's got a mule to ride, I won't have to catch her 'cause she's already tied. She's on the road somewhere, on the road somewhere. Well, I got me a woman on the road somewhere. Curly-headed woman won't treat me right. Curly-headed woman won't treat me right. She sleep all day, walk the streets at night. She's on the road somewhere, on the road somewhere. Well, I got me a woman on the road somewhere. Somewhere. That's a great old song that most of us probably know as Got a Mule to Ride. That's what the Stanley Brothers called it. But I learned that version from George Gibson last time I went to go see him. George learned it from an old gentleman up there in Knott County, Kentucky back in the 1950s or the early 60s whose name was Gran Hudson. Great banjo player apparently who sang with every piece. He's the one who told George, if you can't sing it, don't pick it. And George told me also that Gran's mother was a great banjo player. And many a square dance were held in the Hudson home. Interestingly enough, Gran Hudson didn't play square dance tunes. He only played banjo songs. He liked old ballads, coal camp songs and railroad songs like that one I just played, On the Road Somewhere. Apparently his mother was the one who played for all the square dances, and she played all the square dance tunes like Hook and Line and I don't know, so forth, Cumberland Gap, all those old pieces. But apparently she was a great banjo player too, and I asked George, I said, was he your grandfather or did people just call him Gran? And apparently, everybody just called him Gran. Even down at the post office, George said he tried to mail the man something one time. I think he mailed him a banjo, because he didn't have a good banjo. So George tried to mail him a banjo, and it caused a lot of trouble down at the post office, because George sent it to his legal name. And nobody at the post office knew the man's legal name. Everybody knew him as Gran Hudson. Anyhow, pretty funny. But this is a great banjo I wanted to show you guys that I've actually had this banjo for a year, possibly 2 years now. I got it in a trade, and if anybody knows anything about this, I don't know anything about this. Check it out. Edmund Valentine. If anybody knows anything about Edmund Valentine, or who might have made this banjo, or when, or how much it's worth, I'd sure appreciate if you shared that information with me, because I don't know anything about this banjo. And I haven't been able to find anything out about this banjo. I haven't been able to really determine much about it, except, it's obviously from at least the 1890s, and by the looks of it, I'd say about 1890. Early 1890s. It could be as early as 1880 or something. I just don't know. I can't find any information about it. One person has told me that it might be a Lyon and Healy, because Lyon and Healy, they were a big company, they still are, but they were really big back in the day, in the 1890s and stuff. And apparently Lyon and Healy, if you paid them enough, they put anything that you wanted on a banjo. Somebody told me if you ordered 20 banjos from Lyon and Healy, they'd put any inlay in it that you asked for. So that's what they thought this was. They thought this was a Lyon and Healy that somebody had ordered, 20 of or whatever for their band or for a music shop or something. And Lyon and Healy did this, but I can't find any proof of that. And I only heard that from one person, so I'm not going with that just yet. But it's really cool. I got this banjo in a trade. I had made a little child's banjo basically, and I was trying to sell it, and a guy wanted it, but he didn't want to give what I was asking for it. So he offered me this banjo in a case, basically in parts, and a little bit of cash for that little banjo that I made. So I took him up on it. I thought, yeah, this looks like a cool instrument. I'd never seen one before, Edmund Valentine. And it looked kind of a little bit on the old side, it's at least 1890s. But it's really cool, it plays perfectly. It sat in a case in my back room for a year or two with no head, with lousy tuners on it, and with the neck pulled out and everything, just a pile of junk basically. And just this week, put it back together. I like it. It's sort of wide at the neck and deeper, wide at the nut and deeper there than usual. Most of these banjos from 1890 and later, they got a real slender neck. And I actually like a slightly thicker neck. A lot of people don't, but I do. Anyhow, great banjo. I could not get any of my goat hides to fit on it. For whatever reason, the allowance between the tension hoop and the head and the pot was so narrow that either this is not the original hoop to the banjo, which I think it clearly must be. So this banjo must have been designed to accept a really, really narrow, a really thin hide, the thinnest calfskin available, I imagine. So really cool banjo. If anybody knows anything about Edmund Valentine, please let me know. But so the main event for this little video I want to show you guys is this original early 1860s James Ashborn guitar. Really nice guitar in really good condition for being from about 1860. Take a look at it. Let's look at it before I play it. I just put some fresh nylon strings on this. So it probably has slipped out of tune. It's, nylon strings, guys, they take a little while to adjust, to stretch out. I think that's a solid rosewood back, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure, actually. If I was told if this was veneer or if it was solid, but I don't remember. I'm going to have to find out. It could be veneered, but it's a solid spruce top at least, for sure. And that may be rosewood veneer on the back and the sides, I'm not sure. And probably a mahogany neck, but a really nice guitar. I'm going to use the electric tuner on this, guys, because I want you to hear this thing exactly how it's supposed to sound. It's a pretty impressive little instrument. Now, James Ashborn started making guitars in the 1840s, I think, up in New York City. And he went through the early 1860s. I think the Civil War made his business knock off. That probably happened to a lot of people. A lot of banjo companies went out of business whenever wars start. Like World War I killed a ton of banjo companies. Well, that's pretty good. That's close enough. And the Civil War probably killed this man's business. James Ashborn up in New York City. He apparently made thousands of guitars and banjos and maybe other instruments. This guitar has been professionally restored. I'm going to be offering this for sale. Not yet. I have some more work to do on it yet. The tuners are not original. The tuners are, you know, antique, but they're later than the Civil War period. I don't know. You know, the bridge and stuff is probably replaced. But this is a guitar that's in great condition. It's been busted a couple of times, I can see here. But it's been professionally repaired, and recently George had this professionally restored. Check out the original case. This is what I mostly have to work on. Check out this case, guys. Wow. This is the original case, okay? This guitar fits in this case like a glove. Check that out. Fits in there perfectly. So I'm thinking that this was, you know, this is clearly an original case from the 1850s or 1860s or earlier, and it may have even been made for an Ashborn guitar. I don't know, but I've got some work to do on this case. See, look at that, that just fell out. All this green felt, I've got to re-glue it. Most of the hardware is missing on the case. They came with little flimsy latches. I've seen these cases before. They tend to call them a coffin case because of the way that they look and the way they fit. So the hardware on those things was just notoriously flimsy. Most of it's broken and missing, so I'll have to work on that. But anyhow, guys, thanks for looking. I hope you enjoyed that, and keep an eye out. I'm going to restore that case and that James Ashborn guitar from about 1860, from before the Civil War. It's going to be for sale real soon. So if anybody's interested in a James Ashborn guitar, maybe message me or something, and we'll talk about it. And we're going to sell it for a good, affordable price. It's going to be less than $1,000. So all right, guys, thanks for looking. See you later.